Hi, this program is brought to you from the Calabasas Library and the California State Library by a grant from the Library Services and Technology Act. For more information on our library programs, please visit our website at calabasaslibrary.org. And now I'd like to introduce Linda Suffin, and she will begin the program. Thank you.
Welcome to another session of Beginner Gentle Yoga. I want to welcome you to just practicing wherever you can practice, no matter if you are in a yoga studio at home or even on vacation in your hotel room. So we're going to get started just doing some gentle beginning stretches and warm-ups, and we'll just go from there, and hopefully you can follow along, take breaks when you need to. Please make sure that you're modifying what poses you need and just honor where you are. So I want you to come to any comfortable seated position. So you can sit up tall with your legs crossed. You can also sit on your shins if that feels more comfortable. Anything where you can just lengthen up through your spine. Pull your navel in. Relax your shoulders down away from the ears. Lift the crown of the head. Just draw your chin level with the floor. And go ahead and close your eyes for this first couple moments here. Just kind of let yourself come into this practice. Be nice and quiet. Just listen to the sound and the rhythm of your breath, breathing in and out, in through the nose, and maybe slowly out through the mouth, just to begin. And breathing in through the nose again. And slowly exhaling all the air out. And use each breath that you bring in just to kind of bring in that energy, that oxygen, that sense of calm. And every exhale allows you that opportunity to let go and release anything that is attached to you from the outside. So yoga is about finding the space between you and the rest of your day, between you and the rest of your obligations and responsibilities and individuals that partake in your life. And just dedicating a little bit of time and space to just honoring and taking care of your physical, spiritual, and emotional body. So again, keeping the eyes nice and soft and relaxed, noticing any tension that you might be carrying into this practice, even in this seated position. Notice if you're clenching your fingers, your toes, the space between your brows, around your jaw, around your throat. Allow that breath to just calm the nervous system, soothe the respiratory system, and create just a little bit of aliveness. So we're going to begin with just some simple stretches to warm up the shoulders, a little bit of the spine. So for your first inhale, when you're ready to open your eyes, we're going to inhale, reach those arms all the way up over your head. Just take a couple breaths here, just reach in the fingertips, lengthen up through the spine, pull those floating ribs in so you're not puffing out your chest, draw your navel in, and think about grounding your tailbone towards the floor behind you. Extend those fingers up towards the sky, your palms are in, breathe here. Good. Give me one more full breath in. And then you're going to take your right hand down to the floor, just right next to your right hip. Reach your left arm up. Take a breath. And you're going to just start to slide your right hand out and reach your left arm over. As you're doing so, use your right hand to press your left hip back to the floor and just reach along through a straight left arm. Again, make sure that this stays as a side stretch. You don't want to be turning your body in any direction. You want to just come reach up through that left rib cage. And again, find that edge, find that place in your practice, in the pose that just feels like you're getting just enough. Good. On your next inhale, just come on back up. Reach both arms over your head. And on the exhale, we're going to switch sides. So take your left hand down, press that right arm to the sky, big inhale, and then start to lean it over. And again, slide that left hand out a little bit, press your palm into the floor to keep that right hip rooted and reach through those right fingers. Good. Navel pulls in. Tailbone is drawing down. And then again, you're just finding that place where you're getting enough, but not too much, and allowing yourself to breathe. Keep your face soft. And again, if your breath becomes erratic or choppy, maybe just back off just a little bit so that the breath is the dominant feature in your practice. And then we're going to just do a few side to side. So inhale, reach both arms back up over your head. And on the exhale, take that right hand down, reach that left arm over just a little bit. And then on the inhale, just come back up into center. And on the exhale, switch sides, take that left hand down and reach that right arm over. Good, one more to each side. Inhale, come on back up. Exhale, right hand comes down, left arm reaches over. Good, inhale, back up into center. And then exhale, left hand down, right arm reaches over. Good, inhale, come back up towards the center. And as you exhale, open your arms out like wings to the side. We're going to turn our body to the right. And as we turn our body, you're going to take your right hand to the floor behind you, fingertips facing away. Take your left hand to the top of your right knee and just add a little active twist. Just turn and look over your right shoulder. Sit nice and tall, pulling that navel in, lifting up all the way through the crown of the head. Keep your shoulders relaxed and breathe. Take 2 more deep breaths here. 1. Give me 1 more really big breath. And then slowly untangle yourself, come back to center. Let's inhale the arms back up over your head. And then exhale, open them up, turn to your left, reach, take the left hand back behind you, take the right hand at the top of your left thigh, and just lift up and roll it open. Good, and again, pull that navel in, roll your shoulders away from the ears, open up your collarbones, which is in the front of your chest, spread them apart, and lift the crown of your head. Good, take 2 more deep breaths here. 1. Give me 1 more really big breath. And then slowly come on back to center. From here, we're going to walk our hands forward onto all fours. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see from the side. Come up onto all fours. So like you're a child about to cross somewhere. So you got your hands directly underneath your shoulders. You got your knees directly underneath your hips. We're going to start by doing a few little hip circles. So hip circles are basically what they sound like. So we're going to roll forward. You're going to inhale, roll your hips over towards your left arm, roll them over to your right arm, and then roll all the way back towards your heels. So we're going to do the same thing. So you're creating a circle. Inhale, roll forward, over to the right, and then exhale, pressing back. 1 more this direction. So inhale, roll forward, over to the left hand, over to the right, and then exhale, pressing back. We're going to switch directions. So inhale, roll forward, over to the right, over to the left, and then exhale, roll it back. 2 more like that. Inhale, roll forward to the right, over to the left, and exhale, roll it back. 1 more. Inhale, over to the right, over to the left, and then exhale, roll back and just sit back into child's pose. Draw your hips to your heels, stretch your arms out in front of you, drop your head down. Give yourself a couple moments here just to warm up, release the spine, a little deeper in those hips and stretch through the ribs. Listen to your breath. Take 1 more full breath in. And then slowly come on back up onto all fours. So you're on all fours here. Back to your hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. From here, we're just going to do a little spinal traction. So you're going to take your left leg off the floor behind you, stretch it straight back. So you're going to point those toes straight down to the floor. So your toes are down, hips are level, and then reach your right arm forward, palm turns in. All you're thinking about is how far you can reach that left leg, how long you can reach that right arm, pulling the stomach muscles in and keeping the hips and shoulders level. Good. Use your breath. Nice, deep, slow, rich breaths in and out through the back of the throat. Good. Give me 2 more deep breaths here. 1. Give me 1 more really big breath. And then slowly bring the hand to the floor and bring your knee back to the floor. Shake your hips out a little. Just make sure that it's kind of relaxed. From here, we're going to inhale, arching through the lower back. So the tailbone tilts up, heart moves forward. And exhale, reverse it. Round the spine, concave the chest, pull the chin into the throat. 2 more like that. Inhale, arching through the lower back, tail goes up. Exhale, press the air out, tail goes down. 1 more. Inhale, arching through the lower back. And exhale, rounding the spine deep in. Good. Come on back to a neutral position. We're going to switch sides. So the right leg is going to go back behind you. Stretch it straight back. Left arm is going to go forward in front of you. The palm turns in. And again, look straight down at the floor. Notice if your chin should be pointing straight down. So the tip of your chin is straight down to the floor, so your neck is long. And again, just reach those limbs and breathe. Keep your right arm straight. Keep your left arm long. Let's go 3 more breaths here. 1, 2. Good. Give me 1 more inhale. And then exhale again. Hand comes to the floor. Right knee drops down. Level off your hips. And again, we'll take a few rounds of that cow and cat. So inhale, arching through the lower back. Tail goes up. Belly drops a little. Exhale, navel to the spine. Round it. Deep in, chin down. 2 more. Inhale, arching through the lower back. Exhale, round the spine deep in. 1 more. Inhale, arching through the lower back. And exhale, rounding the spine deep in. Good. So bring yourself back to neutral. We're going to take ourselves into the first downward facing dog. So from here, what you're going to do is you're going to leave your hands where they are. You're going to tuck your toes under. Slowly, making sure your fingers are spread on the floor. Hands are about shoulders width apart. Toes tuck under. You're going to lift your knees, lift your hips, press your weight back, and breathe. So the feet are about hips distance apart. The hands are shoulders width. The head relaxes between the arms. It doesn't matter how straight your legs are, how straight your arms go. Just find some degree of straight. A little soft bend in the knees always helps to get the hamstrings to warm up at the beginning. And really don't worry about whether or not your heels are far from the floor or not. At this point, just let them warm up, the calf muscles and the Achilles tendons. But anytime you need to, you could drop your knees down to the floor. You do not have to hold yourself up here. It could be intense, but if you can, take 2 more deep breaths in downward dog. Good. So on your next inhale, lift up onto your toes. And as you exhale, walk your feet all the way up between your hands. Take your time. Inhale, lengthen your spine halfway. You can also bring your hands to your shins to get your back flat. Exhale, fold gently back in. And inhale, rise all the way up into standing. Come on up. Arms reach up over your head. Gaze up, maybe touch your palms. And then bring your hands to prayer. So we're going to do a few standing things here, just so we can get up into these standing postures. So stand tall at the front of your mat. Big toes and ankles touch if you can. Good. Your hands are down by your sides. Palms turn forward. Good. Relax your shoulders down. Tuck your tailbone slightly. Push down through your heels. So even though you can't see my feet, I want you to just ground those feet firmly into the floor and keep your heels pressing firm. So from a side view, you want to make sure that your tailbone is neutral. So your pelvis is neutral and the tailbone is down, hands down by your sides. So we're going to take ourselves through a few little sun salutations just to get our bodies warmed up. So when you're ready, palms are forward. Inhale, circle the arms all the way out to the sides and up over your head. Big, strong, deep breath in. And as you exhale, you can bend your knees a little bit, keep your back flat, and slowly come down into a forward fold. Hands come down to the floor, and then maybe push your legs straight. Look up and lengthen on the inhale. Remember, hands can be on your shins and knees can be bent anytime. Exhale, fold gently back in. And then we're going to rise back up into standing. So inhale, flat back, arms reach out, come all the way up. Lift those arms up over your head. And then bring your hands to namaste over your heart. So I'll do one facing forward. So if anyone needs to see. Palms down, inhale, circle the arms all the way up. Pull that navel in. Exhale, fold, nice and slow. Remember, bend your knees at any point. Bring the hands down to the floor on your shins. Inhale, halfway up, lift the heart and lengthen. And then fold gently back in. Inhale, rise, bend the knees if you need to. Come all the way back up into standing. Lift those arms up over your head. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer over your heart. All right, so we're going to do that one more time, just a full round. So when you're ready, inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, flat back. Remember, bend the knees at any point. Slowly come on back in. Inhale, halfway up, lift the heart and lengthen. Exhale, fold it in. And inhale, come all the way back up into standing. Rise up, lift up towards the sky. Exhale, hands come back to what's called namaste. Good. So we're going to just start moving into some standing postures here. We're going to take that first little thing that we did, and we're going to add it into what we call the full vinyasa. So we're going to start the same way. Feet together, palms forward. Inhale, circle the arms up. And exhale, slowly fold. Knees bent or straight. Halfway up on the inhale. This time you're going to bend your knees and just try to walk your feet back one at a time. Take your left leg back, take your right leg back, and you'll find yourself in what we call plank. Shoulders, hips to heels in line. Now, if you can't do this with your knees off the floor, just drop your knees and come into a modified plank with your feet up. Otherwise, you're in full plank. Knees off the floor, heels pressing, navel in, looking straight down at the floor. We're going to take one more really big breath. Those of you who need to, you're going to put your knees down to the floor and you're going to lower all the way down to the floor till you're laying on your stomach. So you're going to lay down onto your belly. So elbows pull in and you lower all the way down. Once you get down, let your feet go and bring your forearms and elbows down to the floor for what we call Sphinx Pose. So the tops of the feet are resting on the floor, your fingers open nice and wide. Your elbows press back, your triceps pull in, and your gaze is forward. Crown of the head is lifting straight up to the sky. Good, the navel pulls in. Good, 2 more deep breaths here. 1. Good, give me 1 more really big breath. And then you're going to lower down. Adjust your hands. Come up onto your hands and knees first. Tuck your toes under and then lift it back into downward facing dog, just like we did before. Downward dog. Opening up those fingers, opening up those toes, and breathing. Good. Give me 1 more inhale. Lift your heels up off the floor. Exhale, bend your knees and just start to walk your feet all the way up till they're between your hands. You can always have your feet apart a little bit if that feels better on you. Bring your hands to your shins. Inhale halfway. Lengthen out your spine. Exhale, fold gently all the way back in. And inhale, come all the way back up into standing. Rise up to the top. Lift up. Gaze up, touch your palms up over your head, and then bring your hands to prayer over your heart. Take a breath or 2 here. Good. So just working into some of these standing postures. You're going to bring your hands to your hips. You're going to bend your knees slightly, and we're going to just step our left toes back behind you. So step back into a lunge. So you're balancing on the back toes. So your heel is off the floor back there. Your right knee is right on top of your ankle. Bring your hands to your hips. You can feel where they're square and then try to tuck your tailbone. Now, a lot of times it helps if you bend that left knee a little bit and tuck it down a little to bring it more neutral and then slowly push out through that leg. You're going to reach up through those arms alongside your ears and just hold it here and breathe. Find something to gaze at that's not moving. Think about engaging your inner thighs, lifting the navel, drawing the pelvic floor muscles in and up. Again, there's a lot of balance in this pose, a lot of core strength, getting a lot of heat and fire building from the lower body muscles, the largest muscle groups, the quads and the glutes and the hamstrings. Good. You're going to give me one more really big breath in. And then I want you to just slowly lean forward. And once you get forward, bring your left hand to the floor. If you can, bring onto your fingertips. You could step your left leg back a little bit. So your left hand stays down under the shoulder. We're going to take that right arm and reach it to the sky. Open up and twist. So reaching up through the right arm, stacking the shoulders, holding it here. Take 2 more deep breaths. 1. Give me 1 more really big breath in. And then just bring your right hand to the floor. I want you to drop your left knee down. Let your toes go so the top of your foot is resting. And then push your right leg straight. Flex your right toes off the floor so you're balancing on your right heel. And draw your chest towards your right thigh. Good, just shifting your hips back a little, lengthening the back of the right thigh, the hamstring and the calf muscles, and taking the crown of the head towards your right big toe. Take 2 more deep breaths here. 1. Give me 1 more really big breath, and then rebend that right knee. You're going to tuck those left toes and take that knee off the floor. And then just take that right leg back to meet the left at downward facing dog. Just press it back again. Open those feet a good hips distance. Open up your fingers. Roll your shoulders open. Roll your elbows inward. Let your head relax. Inhale again. Lift up onto your toes. Bend your knees, look forward, and then just walk your feet all the way up. Get as many steps as you need to take to get up there. Inhale, hands on the shins, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold all the way in. And then inhale with a flat back, come back up into standing. Lift those arms up over your head, gaze up, touch the palms. Bring your hands back to prayer over your heart. Good, so we're gonna switch sides. I'm gonna do it the other way so you can just see. So we're standing at the front. Bring your hands to your hips. We're going to take a giant step back with the right leg, straight back behind you. Make sure that when you do step back, watch your balance, that your feet are pretty much about hips distance apart. You're not in a tightrope. If you find yourself on a tightrope, it's going to be much more hard. It's going to be much more challenging to balance. And this is already a balance pose. So your right heel is off the floor. You're squared with your hips. Now bend the front knee, relax your back knee for a moment so that you kind of find that more neutral pelvis, and then push the legs straight. Pull the navel in, lift those arms up over your head. Soften in your shoulders, pull those floating ribs in, the top ribs come in, and just breathe. Find that breath, deep and rich through the back of the throat. Relax your left toes on the floor, put the energy in your left heel, and let's go 3 more breaths here. 1, remember, just do the best you can. If you have to come out early of any pose, you just do it. 2, good. Give me 1 more really big breath, and then slowly lean forward, and then take that right hand to the floor. So fingertips come down. You can scoot that right leg back. You can be on a flat palm or fingertips. Left arm floats to the sky. Now you can turn your head and look to the left as you're twisting. Try to stack your shoulders and keep your back leg strong. Good, we're gonna go 3 more deep breaths here. 1, 2, give me 1 more inhale, and then the left hand is gonna come to the floor. You're gonna gently drop your right knee down to the floor. Pad it if you need to. If you've got something to pad your knee like a blanket or a towel, let your toes go, and then you're gonna straighten your left leg. Push the left leg straight, pull the toes off the floor. You're balancing on your left heel. Walk your hands forward, drop in. And again, just releasing the calf muscle, all the layers of the hamstrings, all the way up to your lower back. Two more deep breaths here. Good. Rebend that left knee, tuck your right toes, pick up that knee off the floor, and then gently send that left foot back to meet the right leg in downward facing dog. And again, find that pose, find the alignment, open your fingers and toes. Inhale, lift up high onto your toes again. Bend your knees, walk your feet back up between your hands. Take your time. Knees bent or straight. Inhale halfway, hands on the shins or on the floor. Exhale, fold back in. Inhale, float it all the way back up into standing. Lift those arms up. Exhale, bring your hands to namaste. Take a moment here. Take a couple breaths. Keep your eyes closed. Good. And just notice how you feel, just doing a few little standing poses. We're going to do 2 more standing poses, and then we're going to go back down to the floor. So from here, I want you to bring your hands to your hips. I want you to take a giant step back with your left foot, but this time I want you to turn your left foot flat and parallel to the edge, the back edge of your yoga mat. So your left foot is parallel, your right toes face forward towards the front edge of your mat. Hands are on your hips. You're going to open your arms out like wings. And from here, we're just going to bend into what's called Warrior Two. So make sure your feet are about 4 to 5 feet apart and slowly heel to heel alignment. So your right heel lines up with the heel of the arch of your left foot, and then just bend. So it doesn't really matter how far you bend. You just want to find some sort of a lunge. You want to keep your right knee tracked over the middle of the foot. So notice your kneecap, which is called the patella, that it's right over the second and third toe of your right foot. Shoulders relaxed, arms are reaching and parallel to the floor. And we're just going to take a couple more breaths here. We're just going to do a few poses on each side, and then we'll be finished with our standing sequence. Go back to the floor. Good. Let's go 3 more deep breaths here. 1, 2. Good. Give me 1 more really big breath. And all I want you to do is just push that right leg straight. Once you get it straight, take your left hand to your left thigh. Turn your right palm up towards the sky. And we're going to do what's called reverse triangle. So you're going to slowly lift up from that right arm. So you're lifting your thigh off the knee. You're rolling to the outer edge of your right foot. So that's the pinky side. You're keeping your chest facing towards the left. So it's not a back bend, it's a side stretch. And you're breathing deep. Good. Lifting the inner thighs, lifting the pelvic floor. Good. Give me 1 more really big breath. Reach up really tall. And on the exhale, we're going to come into what's called triangles. So you're going to come up. As you come up, you're going to take your hips and you're going to shift them out of the way. So you're pushing your right thigh down. And at the same time, you're reaching your right rib cage and torso long. So your right arm is going as far as it'll go. And then let it come down. As long as it's under your shoulder, the alignment is wrist to shoulder. So it could be right on your knee, on your shin, all the way down to the ankle. Or if you're flexible, you can bring it down to the floor. Now, take your left arm first and bring it behind your back. And I want you to just roll that left shoulder open. Roll your right shoulder open. Keep your stomach muscles active. And then take your left arm up towards the sky if it feels good. Keep your gaze forward or straight up, whatever does not create any sort of tension in your neck. Now, anyone who can, left arm over the ear, palm down, and just get a long line of energy through from the edge of that left foot, all the way from your left side of your body, all the way through your left fingers. Good. Just give me 3 more breaths here. 1, 2. Give me 1 more full breath in and out. And then take your left arm back up towards the sky. Look down, lead with your left arm, and inhale, pressing it to the floor. Come on back up into standing. Bring it up. And then all you're going to do is turn your right toes in and then turn your left toes out. So we're going to turn the other direction. And again, before you do anything, look at your feet. Make sure that your left heel and the arch or the heel of your right foot line up. Hips fairly level, arms open up like wings. And then we're going to bend into warrior two. So you're going to slowly bend that front knee. Good. Now, as you're bending, remember, it's not about how far you bend. You could be all the way 90 degrees with that left quad or somewhere up a little bit higher. That's fine. You want to keep your left knee trapped over the second and third toe. Shoulders right on top of your hips, right? Arms are parallel to the floor and your gaze is over your left middle finger. Good. Crown of the head is lifting. Keep everything soft and relaxed and just focus on that breath. Let's go 3 more breaths here. 1, 2. Give me 1 more really big breath and then straighten that left leg. As you straighten it, level the hips, bring that right hand down on the right thigh, turn your left palm up and slowly everything goes straight, nice and long, lifting up. Lift the thigh off the knee. You can even lift your left toes slightly off the floor and make sure, again, you're rolling to this time the outer edge of your left foot so that the knee is tracked over the middle of the foot, keeping that alignment of the joints of the knee, the ankle, your hip, all the way up through your shoulder and your wrist. 2 more deep breaths here. 1, remember, active core muscles. Pull that navel in. Give me 1 more really big breath and then exhale. As you come up, remember, your hips go one direction, so you're pushing your hips out of the way as you reach through your left torso. Reach through that left arm. Take it as long as you can, and then let your left hand. Remember, some of us are going to be up here, and that's fine. Some of you are going to be down a little lower. Some can go all the way down. Take your left arm up first, and then bring it behind your back just to get that shoulder open. Good, and when you're ready, you can take the arm up. Listen, you can stay here. This is a great version of the pose where you can lift the arm up and you can take it over your ear, palm down. And again, just be here and breathe. Two more deep breaths here. 1. 1 more really big breath. Bring the arm to the sky. Slowly lead with that right arm and inhale, come on back up into standing. Pivot in with your left toes, square off your feet, turn the palms up towards the sky. Good, so look down at your feet, make sure that your toes turn in and your heels turn out. Good, inhale, reach those arms all the way up over your head. And exhale, take it into a forward fold. So as far as you can open up your legs wide, slowly bring your torso down, bring your hands to the floor and just hang forward. Hang in this forward fold. So gently pushing into the outer edge of your feet, lifting the inner thighs up, dropping your torso down. Give me about 3 more breaths. Good. From here, we're going to come halfway up. You're going to crawl over to your right toes. So crawl all the way over to your right foot. Just make your way over to the right foot. We're going to make our way down to the floor again. So crawl over to that right foot. Once you've got your body over there, pick up your back heel, bend the right knee. And all I want you to do is just gently drop your left knee down to the floor. Let your toes go. Now I'm going to show you a couple ways that we can work into the hips. So one way is just to stay here with your right knee bent and your left leg straight. And then just try to drop your forearms and elbows down to the floor. And you'll feel a really good stretch in your hips. If that's something that you want to do, stay here. The other version would be walk your right toes over to the left side and slowly drop down into the outer side of your right leg. Stay on top of your left knee. You can pull your right heel in really close to the body so that you could square off your hips. Let the top of your left foot rest on the floor. Sit up nice and tall for a moment. This is called Pigeon Pose. And then see if you can bring your forearms and elbows down to the floor. Drop down and then just close your eyes and just allow yourself to release all the tension or any stress or anything that's unconscious or anything that just feels strained in your hips. Try to relax your shoulders, try to close your eyes, try to relax your face, and make sure you can breathe. When we get to these kinds of poses that require us to just kind of be in it, it's best to try not to fidget in the pose, meaning try not to wiggle your way out of the sensation you're feeling. If you're feeling anything that equals pain, meaning it's too painful for you, then please modify the pose, come out a little bit, or you can do this laying on your back. Otherwise, just be here. You've only got about 30 more seconds. Take the deepest breaths you can take. Think about yoga as we talk about being in a pose and doing a pose. And what we try to move away from is doing the pose, meaning that there is some sort of perfect result. Being the pose is just allowing yourself to be 100% present in the moment, because each day, how we do the pose might be different, but being in the pose can be the same. Now, slowly bring yourself up. You're gonna come on up. You're gonna roll to one side. Gently bring that straight leg out in front of you. Bring your right leg out in front of you. Shake them out for a moment. Just move them in and out of the hip sockets. Good, and just let that kind of release for a second. Good, and then we're gonna do the other side. So again, you're gonna come into a lunge. You're gonna maybe walk up forward onto your hands and knees. You're gonna bring your left shin forward, bring your left leg forward. So those of you who chose to do the other one, you're gonna have your left leg forward, your right leg back, and then try to bring your forearms and elbows down to the floor. Okay, this is a little different. It gives a different angle. Those of you doing pigeon, you're gonna come up, you're gonna heel toe the left toes over to the right. You're gonna drop down into the outer left leg, okay? Pull that left heel in so that you can roll on top of your right knee and easily and gently square your hips. Okay, so you want to find the right angle with your left shin so that your hips are level. And then from here, walk your forearms and elbows down to the floor if you can. And then just, again, try to be in the pose instead of doing the pose. Try to be in the pose. Close your eyes and breathe. Remember, there's nowhere to go. Hopefully in your mind, you've decided there's nowhere to be right now, except in this moment. Try to relax any tension or stress and just let the sensation of the pose kind of help you release any of the energy that has been stored in your body. Got about 30 more seconds to go. So really just try to appreciate these last couple moments here. A few more breaths. Great. Slowly walk up. So roll a little over to your side. Take that right leg and bring it forward. Take it out. Take your left leg out. Stretch the legs. Move them in and out of the hip sockets one more time. Good. And from here, we're going to just come into a couple forward folds. So what we're going to do is we're going to keep our left leg straight. You're going to bend your right knee. I'm going to do it in front so you can see it. So mirroring, your left leg is straight, right leg is bent. You're going to bring the sole of your right foot to the inner left thigh. Let your right knee just gently drop open. Now take a moment, scoot your butt out of the way, sit up nice and tall. So again, once you've got the alignment of the pose, you're going to sit up really tall, flex your left toes, Take the arms up over your head. Take a big inhale here. And on the exhale, do what you can. Fold over that left leg. Get a hold of the toes if you can. Drop your elbows down if you want. You don't have to fully straighten the left leg. Just kind of hang here. Let yourself be. Gently firm your stomach muscles while you're here. Take 3 more deep breaths here. 1, 2. Take 1 more full breath in. And then slowly walk yourself back up. Come on back up. We're going to switch sides. So you're going to straighten your right leg. You're going to bend your left knee. In the front angle, you've got your right leg straight. You're going to bend your left leg. Bring the sole of your foot to the inner thigh. Scoot your butt out of the way a little bit. Sit tall. Flex your right toes. Inhale the arms all the way up over your head. And then exhale, fold over that left leg. Right leg. Pull the toes back. Think about a little bit of your forehead going towards the right big toe. And if you have the flexibility, you can drop your forearms and elbows down a little closer to the floor. Otherwise, just let them hover, let them hang. And again, always remind yourself, doing the pose versus being in the pose. Being in the pose means it is what it is in the moment. You're not attached to the physicality of what you're doing. Three more breaths. Slowly come on back up. And we're going to take our legs out in front of you. Bend your knees. Bring your arms out in front of you. Pull your navel in. And let's slowly engage your core muscles, 1 vertebrae at a time. Roll yourself down onto your back. Keep your knees bent and then slowly lay down. Slide your feet so they're underneath your knees. Feet are about hips distance apart. We're just going to do 1 back bend, 1 twist, and then we're done. So feet about hips distance, feet are parallel, hands down next to your hips. Pull your navel in. We're going to take a deep breath in. And we're going to slowly push up into bridge pose. So you're going to lift your body off the floor, lift the hips, push into your heels, scoot your shoulders underneath you. Go ahead and interlace your fingers if you can, and press those arms down to the floor. At the same time, I want you to hug your knees in slightly, not to touch, but just to keep the knee joints and the hip joints in the same line. Use your glutes and hamstrings and draw your navel in. Good. Relax your neck. Keep the chin just drawing to the throat naturally how it does. And let's go 3 more breaths here. 1, 2. Give me 1 more really big breath. And then let your hands release and slowly 1 vertebrae at a time, lower yourself all the way back down. Once you feel your butt hit the floor, take your knees, draw them into the chest 1 at a time, hug them down. Take a few moments, just rock a little side to side. Massage the lower back. And then we're going to just finish with a final twist. So from here, there's many twists that you can do. You can keep your knees together and keep the legs bent. Take your arms out like wings, and you can drop your knees over like that. If you want a little bit deeper, take your left leg straight. Hug your right knee in, take the palm to the outside of your right knee, and gently let your knee float over to the left. So either twist is good, however you feel inclined to twist the lower spine. And take about 3 or 4 really deep breaths across your back, across your chest, across the lower spine. Slowly come on up. If you did 1 knee at a time, Just hug that knee into the chest. If you have both knees in, you're going to switch sides. Otherwise, other leg goes straight, other leg goes bent. Hug it in. Take the arm out like a wing. Take the opposite hand to the opposite outside of the knee and drop the knee over. And twist again. And if you can look towards the opposite way that you're twisting, turn your neck. Otherwise, just look straight up. Come on up. Hug that left knee in. Bring your right knee up, both knees in. Hug them one more time. Balance off the hips. Give me one more breath. And then our final pose, which is Shavasana. You're going to slowly lay your body on the floor. So stretch your legs straight out. Let the feet just flop open. Let your arms come down by your sides. Scoot your shoulders down. Let everything relax. Let your breath go natural. And just give me a couple moments here, just to let everything that you've just done integrate. So just let your mind be quiet. Let your breath be smooth. Just feel gravity pulling you down to the floor. Notice if you're holding or carrying any tension in your forehead, between your brows, around your mouth, your jaw, your throat, maybe in the upper back, maybe in the lower back. Just be aware. And just try to surrender into this final pose. When you're ready, go ahead and start to deepen that breath again. Big inhale through the nose. Side out through your mouth. Wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. Slide your feet back onto the floor. So bend your knees. Once you've got your knees bent, gently roll to your right side. Curl up to yourself for a moment. Keeping your eyes closed, use your left hand on the floor to press you back up into sitting. When you get there, take a moment, eyes closed, find that comfortable seated position one more time, sitting up nice and tall. Notice how you feel. Just scan your entire body, not just the physical body, but your mental body, your spiritual body, all the things that are sort of activated and stimulated and awakened through yoga. And lastly, when you're ready, just bring your palms together, draw them to your heart, bow your head to your heart center. Just take this final moment. And as always, after yoga or before yoga or even during yoga, it's always good to just take a moment to just find a little slice of gratitude. Be grateful for where you are. Be grateful for where you came from. Be grateful for what you've got in the future. Let's do our best to not take anything we have for granted. And let's honor those people in our life and honor the spirit that is in each one of us. I want to thank you very much for being here and sharing this little bit of yoga with me. If you have any questions about this class or any other questions about yoga, you can reach me at linda@innerpoweryoga.net. Happy to answer any questions you have. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day. Namaste.